who some of you may know. Brendan O'Neill. He's a horrible guy. I thought everyone would, we'd seek out horrible people, so I thought that would be something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He writes for Spiked, which Spiked is a horrible organisation. He wrote in 2013, a socialism which obsesses over a symptom of the economic downturn rather than putting forward ideas for how to create a new wealthy society is pretty foolish. And when he said that, he was talking about critics of payday lending. Critics of payday lending, in his opinion, are people who are ignoring the wider issues of banking, the wider issues of finance, and are not putting forward better ideas for wealth. And I want to stand here and tell you why I think he's wrong. In the last 10 years, 2004, the payday lending industry in the UK was worth little more than 100 million. And in 2014, the industry as a whole, and the industry is based on volume of loans going out to people, is worth 2.8 billion pounds, and that's an incredible. most industries would struggle to grow in that sort of way, and payday lending has. And I wanted to also remind you that in 2008, which was the cusp of the recession, the industry had grown from over 700 million at that point to 900 million. So this is an industry that was able to grow off the back of the recession. And in the UK, we have a home credit operator called Provident Financial, the Provi to a lot of people. And in the United States, there's Cash America. And both of the chief executives of those companies were on record as saying that the recession is an opportunity rather than a loss to their business plan. And in case you were wondering, they did make a huge opportunity off of the recession, and their industries both grew in the UK and here and elsewhere. Now, the big three organisations that carry out payday loans in this country are Wonga.com, also QuickQuid, which is an online operator, and The Money Shop. All three, I'm sure, you'll be aware of. Now, all three of those companies, bar one of them, Bongo is a company that started in the UK but was chiefly sort of organised in South Africa. QuickQuid is a subsidiary group of Cash America, which is a large organisation that nets sort of £81 million of profit per year. And The Money Shop is part of the Dollar Financial Group, which nets also very similar sums. And Wonga.com was an organisation that made, in 2012, £1 million in profit per week. In terms of turnover and pre-tax profits, they don't go above sort of banking, mainstream finance, HSBC, and the other organisations that you'll hear of tonight. But certainly when you think of the fact that payday lending represents only 2% of the consumer credit industry, and when you consider that HSBC after-tax profits were around 15 million even, not 15,000, 15 million, then payday lending profits are certainly not 2% of consumer credit market total profits. They're making an extraordinary amount of money off of people and putting people in incredible amounts of misery. The definition of usury, in fact, is rich people making an awful lot of money off of poor people, and that is what the payday lending sector does. Now, the impact on communities, it has been addressed by people who are better at maths than I am, by the London Mutual Credit Union, who have assessed that the 7.4 million / 8.2 million pounds in lending that payday lenders operated with customers in 2012, if that was to be saved by going to an affordable lender with a credit union, then some 676 / 749 million could have been saved, and that money could have been better spent in the backs of the pockets of people who would otherwise be going to payday lenders. So it has had a real impact on those communities as well, and that is a figure that could have been better spent not having to pay back the expensive loans from the types of lenders like Wonga.com. Now, most people, when they're addressing the payday lending industry, will talk about some of the ways in which we can utilise the state apparatus to address that situation and to counter that situation. And they'll talk about what the regulator might do. So the Financial Conduct Authority, in this instance, who regulates the consumer credit industry, what they can do, and also talking about the way in which mainstream finance can regulate itself or be better targeted to people. Thank you. With regards to things like in the US, they have the Community Reinvestment Act and responsible banking ordinances in some cities. But I don't necessarily like to talk about ways in which we use state apparatus to try and undercut the payday lending industry. I like to talk about ways in which citizens themselves can undercut that industry. One of those things is to support third sector lending, such as credit unions, such as CDFIs and community banking institutions. But I also want to question why there is a debt society in specifically. Why is there a debt society? Well, the debt society is there because people aren't paid enough, because the resources that they have to buy into, like going through energy industries, is costing them too much money. What I wanted to see at this stage, I've been researching this industry for a number of years now, what I wanted to see at this stage was the trialling of unfair relationships within the consumer credit industry. Unfortunately, there hasn't been that. Only recently, the Financial Conduct Authority, which is the regulator, as I say, started to coerce the industry, coerce Wonga, for example, the biggest payday lender in the UK, to start to pay or start to write off some of the debts that were deemed unfair. What I would like to see is that rolled out a little further. If it takes for people to do that themselves, then so be it. One of the things that the payday lenders use in order to recoup debts is the continuous payment authority. One of the things that debt advice charities used to tell people to do, but they've stopped doing this now, is that if you're in trouble with a payday lender, withdraw all your money from that bank account and put it in another one. They can't withdraw their money after they do that. Now, lenders have been undercutting or overgoing the rules set by either the OFT or the FCA for years and years and years. And the consumers that have been at the bottom of that, who have been fucked over by those lenders, have had to do nothing. They can do nothing about it. Well, that's one way in which they can start doing things. And that's my non-state apparatus idea for you tonight. So thank you very much.